Hey there, it's Brittany Chavers, and I'm back today with Jesse James Beads, and we're going to be making a beautiful bracelet and pair of earrings using this Color Trends mix, Wanderlust. It's funny, last year, or I think in 2022, I made also a bracelet and a pair of earrings using this mix, but we're going to mix it up this time and do something completely different with the same mix. I'm going to start out using this awesome antique bronze charm, and I'm going to take my nippers and I'm going to cut off our little charm loops. Just be careful and try and get in there as closely as possible. And then I'll cut off the other one. There we go. And if you'd like, you can file that down using some sandpaper or a jewelry file. It's pretty good. I got in there pretty well. I can't even tell. Oh, there it is. So now we just have like almost like a marguerite instead of a charm. So I also have some soft flex beading wire in turquoise, some soft flex crimps, and a couple different seed bead colors from Jesse James Beads. So I'm going to choose one of these two later on in the bracelet. Right now I just need one seed bead, one of the bead caps from the mix, and this crystal from the mix. I'm going to take one of my crimp beads and my beading wire, and I'm going to thread on my crimp bead, or crimp tube I should say, then my marguerite, then my bead cap, but I'm going to put it so the flare is facing out, my crystal, and then my seed bead. And you could choose whatever beads you want to do this portion. Then I'm going to come back through all of those beads other than the seed bead. The seed bead's only going to be gone through once with the wire. I'm coming back through. Pull that tight. And so that's what our flower looks like right there. You can put, like I said, any kind of bead on there that you'd like, any color seed bead, whatever color beading wire you wanted to use. I just really like the turquoise with this mix. And then I am going to come back through my crimp tube. And grab whatever crimping pliers you use. And then I'm going to come up as tightly as possible against that flower. And I'm going to crimp. So I just crimp once, turn it 90 degrees, crimp again, and then crimp one more time, going up the tool. So now we have a cute little flower, and this is going to become the button on our bracelet, so it's part of our closure. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off the spool, and then I am going to thread on my design, starting with some of these orange beads, and then I'm going to be moving into more turquoise beads. This is the order that I'm going to go in. Putting some bead caps around that crystal, and then I'm going to put these 4 rondelles, these metal beads, in the middle, and then repeat that same pattern. Go ahead and string. And here I wanted to make a decision on whether I wanted to put a seed bead between each one of these beads just to separate them out a little bit. I'm thinking this color is better for the turquoise in these beads, so I'm just going to spill out some of those. And if I don't like how it looks, I'll just go with putting all 4 up next to each other. And the seed bead might be a little small for the hole on the beads. Nope, we're good. Oh yeah, I really like how that looks. Gives it some definition. All right, and then I will finish off with the rest of the beads. All right, so I have that strung. I need a little bit more length, so I added 2 more of the cat's eye beads onto each side. Just add or subtract beads depending on the length you need. What I'm going to do is slide my extra tail, some of it through this set of beads at the front, just 2 or 3. Slide that down. It gives it a better flow from that crimp tube right into the bead instead of cutting right up against that crimp tube. And then I am going to cut my extra tail off. Make sure you don't cut your main wire. I'm going to move everything down and thread on a crimp tube and several seed beads. So we're just going to put on quite a few of these. This will be our closure. You could also attach your wire to a ring and then close with some leather. That would be really pretty too. We just want the loop to be long enough to go around our flower. So I'm going to test my loop, and I believe we have enough seed beads, but I'm going to test it a little bit more thoroughly and pull my wire back through my crimp tube and down through a couple beads. And if it's not large enough, then I'll just take it off and put on a couple more beads. I think it could work, but it's, you know, you might fight it a little bit. I'm just going to put maybe 3 more beads on and then we'll be good to go. I'm pulling my wire back through my crimp tube, down through a couple beads. And while the rest of the beads are pulled down to the flower, I am just pulling my pulling my wire, making sure we've got a snug fit, but that it's curled while we're doing it because we don't want a straight line for our bracelet. Okay, and then I'm just going to, there's going to be a little bit of slack because I can't get it any closer with that wire hanging there, but I'm going to go ahead and crimp. Make sure you don't get your make sure you don't get your seed beads in that crimp because you will crack them. And we'll go ahead and crimp. And then turn 90 degrees, just like we did at the beginning. Crimp again and move it up. I'm going to go ahead and snip that wire. The awesome thing about soft flex is even if you see your wire, it's the same color as your beads. So here we go. Put our flower through our bracelet, or through our loop. And isn't that beautiful? It's such a beautiful boho bracelet that just looks great all year round, especially coming up into spring and summer. Isn't that fun? All right, so we're gonna make a matching pair of earrings. I have these beautiful ceramic cubes that were in the mix. 2 more of these turquoise crystals, 2 of these teardrops, and then I have 8 of these daisy spacers. And then I cut some 22 gauge wire, and I'm just going to wire wrap these together. I'm going to start with my round nose pliers and create a wire wrapped loop like that. Hold on to the loop and bring my wire wrap around a couple times. Now if you want it to be messy, then just keep going. I'm going to do a little bit messy because it is kind of a boho look. And then I am going to snip. I'm going to feed on 2 of my spacers, my cube, and 2 more of my spacers. So it looks like that. And then I'm just going to wire wrap the top closed. Go around that way, reposition the pliers, and then kind of pull this down, make that loop a little bit smaller. There we go. There we go. We have a cute little link for the rest of our earring. I have some Beaded gold ball head pins, and I'm going to use that to do a wire wrap loop on the little teardrop. So what I'm going to do is start my wire wrap loop, but before I finish it off in the back, I'm going to open it just a tiny bit and slip on my link, close that up, and wire wrap it closed. There we go. And then we'll cut that like that. Cute, cute, cute. And that would be cute itself. I mean, honestly, that's a really nice little earring. I'm just going to do the exact same thing with the wire up top here and put on an ear wire. So I'm going to take my leftover wire from the first part of this earring, and I'll create a loop here with my leftover wire. It's a little bit smaller than, there we go, that's perfect. I will snap it onto the rest of my earring, close that up, and then we will trim. And finish this up. Cute. And then I'll get an ear wire. Close that up. And here's the pair. Very fun, very easy to put with just about anything. And here it goes. It goes really well with our bracelet. So thank you for joining me. Thank you to Jessie James Beads for having me back. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.